go, the final green flag of the weekend. We're off and rolling. As riders already jockeying for position, headed into turn number 1. Look at how close it is. Oh, a little bit of contact there maybe as one rider starting to get the shakes. Drops back a couple of spots as they head into turn 2. So we'll wait for our riders to kind of funnel into position. They're really going to open things up. Headed into turn 3 here, you can see a bit of a dip, and it looks like that is Cody Gilmore out front leading the way. Looks like that might already be Jake Masters sliding into the number 2 spot on that number 9 ride. Jump back on board with our Wild Boar Audio live drone, making their way around Fan Hill, headed back into turns 5 and 6. Starting to see some space open up inside that top 3. 8 laps here in this final race of the day. Once again, our Andrews Performance Products Bagger GP, our Pirelli Pro Stock, and our Barnett Clutches and Cables Super Street Bagger class all out on course. Looks like that is Tony Tucker hanging on to the final podium spot for now. Possibly Tony Salima just behind him. Couldn't quite make out who that rider was. Guess we'll have to wait for them to come across the stripe here for lap 1. Once again, our live coverage here on Racer TV, brought to you by our friends at Newcastle Harley-Davidson. A big thank you to all of them for letting us share the BRL racing action with fans all over the country and across the world, as well as we watch Cody Gilmore pushing the envelope and pushing his way towards a first lap complete. Looks like that might be Salima, followed by Braun maybe. Couldn't quite tell. It had a nice little group there as Cody Gilmore does now check in a 1:39.7 on that opening lap. Ooh, possibly problems there for Carl Schlack. He's getting shuffled back a bit. Jake Masters in the number 2 ride. Tony Tucker checks in the number 3 spot. It is Clay Braun, not Tony Salima, who is in the 4th place ride. Tony Salima back there in 5th. Brendan Foley 6th. Tyler Elliott, Jake McGuire, Nick Solomon, and Craig Braymill. Your top 10 with 1 lap complete. We're going to stick with this one. Clay Braun really been fighting hard to try to get into the fight here. He's got a lot to prove, recovering from injury for most of the 2024 season, and has actually found himself on the ground most of 2025, picking up some minor injuries along the way with that as well. Can't say this guy is not tough as nails, and you can't say that he doesn't want it as well. But always a very good interview. Got a very likable, high energy type personality, but man, he is as real as it gets when he throws that helmet on. He is fast, and he wants to stand on the top step of the podium. As we watch them weave their way back through 8 and 9, getting ready to head back into that turn 10B. You can see just towards the bottom of the screen, that is the abbreviated corner. Not here at BRL, no abbreviation about it. We're going all the way around 10B. Saw a couple of riders having some issues in that corner throughout the race as well. So we'll see as things wear down, as the tires heat up, the riders start to get a bit fatigued. That is a spot we'll watch for mistakes as Gilmore checks in another lap with 1:36 now on that last one. Masters crosses the line in the number 2 ride, Tony Tucker. And Clay Braun still your top 4 with Tony Salima rounding out the top 5. All the fans on the fence for this one, they know the main event of the afternoon is on the track. Look at how hard these riders are pushing, headed into turn 2. Looks like that is just behind. So maybe Tony Salima and Brendan Foley we're watching. Looks like Tyler Elliott right there as well. So these riders pretty close, 5th, 6th, and 7th. McGuire, Salmon, and Braymiller pretty close as well. We're trying to get you guys a little more information as to who we're watching on screen right now. Taking a look at live time and the scoring, we've got several riders very close together on the track. Kind of see grouped in bunches of 2s as this is Tony Tucker being chased by Clay Braun. Then it looks like Tony Salima and Brendan Foley going at it, followed by Tyler Elliott and Jake McGuire, then Nick Solomon and Craig Braymiller. So we've got a few couples, if you will. Look at that, 2, 2, and 2 making their way around turn 10. So space between the groups, but Man, the riders all caught in fierce battle. Looks like Tucker able to put a little bit of speed there on the top end, headed into that final corner final corner 11. Put another lap in the books. Look at this, going for the lead. Oh, tries to thread the needle, not quite close enough. Ooh, that was pushing the envelope hard. I believe that was Tony Salima and Tyler Elliott maybe going at it up. That was some impressive riding right there, really trying to thread the needle. Dwyer, Solomon, and Bray Miller still look like they are wheel to wheel to wheel as well. Back down into turn 3 we go once again. The fans on Fan Hill all watching with anticipation. Gilmore out front now by 5.9 seconds. Almost, we'll basically just call it 6. Masters comfortably in the number 2 ride. Tony Tucker, though, no room to breathe whatsoever as Clay Braun is putting the pressure on. Meanwhile, watching on your screen, a bit of the door left open, headed into turn 8 and 9. Starting to bunch up a bit. Going to be a 3-rider battle before you know it. That is maybe Elliott, McGuire, and Salmon. And what was two-rider groups is now turning into a big party of 4. They get ready to make their way back once again. There you see Brendan Foley on that number 29 Suburban Motors Harley-Davidson back ride. Once again, peeking to the inside, heading into turn 11, and he's got it this time. Had the gap, and look at that, not going to just lose one. That's a BOGO. Take the halfway flags. So that is McGuire, Salmon, Elliott, and Bray Miller now. The backside of your top 10 locked into fierce battle. And Jake McGuire now leads the group. McGuire, a little look back over his shoulder. Possibly Elliott or Salmon making a pass as well. Maybe that was Bray Miller, actually. Head into turn 3. Line in formation, carrying a lot of speed here through 5 and 6. You're going to be headed back into turn 7, just beside Fan Hill. All of the Michigan fans hanging out with us, enjoying an incredible weekend of racing here for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2025 BRL racing season. Cody Gilmore, Jake Masters 1 and 2 right now, actually 1 and 1 if you will. Masters out of that Pirelli Pro Stock class leading the way, while Cody Gilmore hanging on to the lead in our Andrews Bagger GP class. Tony Tucker under incredible pressure. Let's see if we can flash up to that battle here in just a second. These guys still going at it here. McGuire, Salmon, Elliott, and Bray Miller. I mean, it's hard to turn away from this. Look it over. This is a full-on battle. Look at this. Once again, it's a drag race headed to the line. Pass and pass back. So Salmon now makes the move into the 7th place spot. This is how deep the field is, folks. We're battling for 7th position like it's for a win. Salmon, McGuire, Elliott, and Bray Miller going at it. Looks like, oh, McGuire might have made the pass back now. Salmon maybe a little stronger on the big end here. Regains that spot headed into turn 3. Meanwhile, up ahead, Tony Tucker and Clay Braun lapped into a battle, as are Brendan Foley and Tony Salima. Great racing all over the track here. In their way around turn 7. got a steep entry and then wraps back around. Look at that, a beautiful move up the inside, sets himself up perfectly for turn 9. That might have been McGuire making the pass back once again. Tucking back into turn 10. They lose elevation just a bit as they make their way around, so carrying a lot of speed. We've seen some front ends wash here, as it does look like McGuire regained that 7th place spot. And actually able to put a fair amount of distance as well. There goes Tony Tucker at the bottom of the screen. Did not see Clay Braun on his heels, so maybe they have separated just a bit. Meanwhile, Gilmore, Masters, Tucker, Braun, Foley, your top 5 with Salima, McGuire now back in the 7th place spot. Salmon, Elliott, and Bray Miller, your top 10. Look at this, 3 wide almost in turn 2. Oh my goodness, and now a complete flip-flop of that group. And as if 4 wasn't enough, let's make it 5 riders. Looks like that's possibly Bray Miller getting into the mix as well. Maybe a lap rider as well, hard to tell. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't tell if that's Tony Tucker or not. It looked like the blue machine. But I also think it might be, okay, getting word that is Jason Owens there, so that is not a rider on the lead lap, but obviously kind of throwing a wrench into the battle here. And gonna hang that rider up. Oh man, that might be Bray Miller now getting caught behind him. Gonna have to go way around and loses a ton of time on the rest of the field. Meanwhile, look at this. That was the battle between Tony Tucker and Clay Braun. White flag is out. Cody Gilmore, one more trip around, and he's going to grab a win in the Bagger GP class. Jake Masters trying to get her done in Pirelli Pro Stock, and I believe Brendan Foley looking to stay undefeated in that Barnett Super Street class. It's not over yet, though, folks. Anything can happen here on these final laps of racing, especially as close as some of these riders are. Here we go, white flag, as Cody Gilmore more than halfway around this Gingerman Raceway course. And there he is on screen, your leader. The Suburban Motors Harley Davidson back, Ryan Bridgestone powering. Cody Gilmore to another Bagger GP win. Just feeling the flow right now. Like he said last year, his debut year on a Bagger machine, and man, picked it up so quick, caught a lot of people off guard, a lot of the competition off guard by how impressive he was, and made some moves, got a championship and jumped up to this premier class, and now he is trying to show why he is the man to beat. As here we go, checkered flags waving, and it will be Cody Gilmore grabbing the win. Jake Masters is going to cross the line in the number 2 spot, grabbing the win in the Pirelli Pro Stock class. Looks like Tucker was able to do it and hang on for that 3rd place spot. So what a fantastic race. Brendan Foley, I believe, going to get the job done and keep the streak alive there out of your Barnett Super Street class. Fans all leaning on the fence, cheering for their favorite riders. Riders celebrating a successful weekend. Some riders still in the heat of battle here. Carl Schlack trying to hang on to, I believe, the 12th place spot. As Sean Hoffman trying to make some late race moves. Moving down to the nitty gritty. It's not over till it's over. 4-rider group, oh, door left open just a little bit. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Love to see it. As here they come into turn 11, final corner, checkered flag in sight. I believe that is Emilio Jimenez, Carl Schlack, Sean Hoffman, and possibly Mike Corey there with them as well. a fantastic way to cap off the final race of the weekend as we get ready to give you that Alpinestars top 10 here from Gingerman Raceway. It is Cody Gilmore on that Suburban Motors Harley-Davidson grabbing the win in your GP class. Jake Masters out of that Pirelli Pro Stock going to grab the win second physically on track. Tony Tucker, a great ride back on the podium physically and edging out Clay Braun. There in the number 4 spot, Brendan Foley, a solid ride, grabbing that Barnett Super Street win, and 5th place physically on track, Tony Salima, Jake McGuire, Nick Solomon, Craig Braymiller, and Tyler Elliott. Your top 10 for the final race of the day. And now let's give you a highlight here as we take a look at our Alpinestars Rapid Race replay here for the final race of the afternoon. It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky. The riders stuffing ice in their leathers, doing everything they can to try to stay cool, but visors came down, the green flag flew, and it was on right from the drop. Riders kind of breaking off into bunches. We saw a lot of small groups all the way through the top 15 here early in this one. Little groups of 2s here and there, and then slowly but surely they started to morph into these big battles of 4+ riders at a time. I mean, this is, I believe, 2nd and 3rd, and then 3rd and 4th right here. They were going at it for a couple of laps, and then that kind of started to catch up into this one big mid-pack group, if you will. Look at this, funneling up the inside. We had some grown man moves being made all throughout this course, and unfortunately, you shut a rider down like that. That loss of momentum cost him a couple of spots. Look at this, some bar banging back and forth, running out of real estate here through 1 and 2, not willing to give it up, pushes him a little wide, says, hey, watch out now, I'm not scared of it. Slicing it back underneath. Man, this Gingerman Raceway course, one of my favorite stops for BR because we see these battles so often. Such a raceable course, and these riders making the most of what's available to them. Some lap riders late in this race started to play into the mix as well, but nobody could stop Cody Gilmore on that 374 machine from taking the win. Jake Masters funnels into the number 2 ride,